What if we could learn from outstanding leaders in business, sports, and education from some of the best voices in corporate America? Lighting the Path is a series of interviews with industry leaders whose stories highlight strategies that build purpose-driven cultures, engage and retain top talent, develop drivers that create high-performance teams, and connect people to the vision of your company. Join us to hear from game-changing, talented leaders whose paths make a difference at work and at home.
If you, after you have any experiences, your network starts to grow. And you mentioned that is that connecting to others. And I think that that is, from a tool standpoint, is one of the least used tools that creates the most value, which in today's disconnected world, if we could be the connection agents, if we can help people be connected to other people of value, then our value increases.
Yeah, we're entering an interesting moment in time where people's loneliness and isolation and seclusion is higher than ever. The reason that people follow influencers the way they do, right? Where the Mr. Beast for my kids' generation and the Joe Rogan for millions and millions of followers. Why? Because they become their friends. They're so isolated and lonely that these people they're watching online become their friends. They did some, I'll butcher it and you can fact check it on your own, the audience, but something like in 1990 they did a survey and asked, do you have, how many people have more than three close friends? And it was like 30 something percent, said they have more than three friends. And they just did that survey again, recently, and there was something ridiculous like the other way around where a third of the people they talked to said they had less than three close friends. And so this digitally dominated world, of algorithms and social media and just everything being online, it's making people alone. So when you do take the time to see someone, right, ask them questions, appreciate them, add value to their world, it's such an opportunity for those in this space, right, to stand out. So you open this conversation with how do you stand out, and it almost sounds so elementary and almost like a stupid answer to say, well, just look at someone and care. Look how you can serve them. Ask them questions, right? Really get to know a person, and you're like, yeah, no, but like, how do you really do it? And it's like, no, people want to be seen.
Yeah, and the challenge we run into, especially any of us that are in any form of a business development role, we have a tendency to really worry about what do I say?
Mm-hmm.
That script and how do I what do I say? What do I, how do I answer this? And what you're saying is that I need to spend more time thinking about the questions that I'm asked than the answers that I'm going to give.
Yeah, one of the things we teach in sales is if you want to improve the quantity of sales, improve the quality of your questions, and ask more of questions. And look, all we do in the service industry, the sales industry, is we solve problems. The bigger the problem you can solve, the more money you make. And the ultimate example is Jeff Bezos, right? Like, I don't want to go to the store to find exactly what I'm looking for. Great. Click two buttons and exactly what you want will be at your doorstep tomorrow. Like, he solved a big problem and he's the richest man in America. So, on a much lower level, right, through these conversations, through these questions, I'm going to identify a problem or a pain point that you may have. And I'm going to say, Mike, if I'm hearing you right, it sounds like this or that is it important to you, and something you might currently be struggling with. I might be able to help, and then we offer that solution. And that's sales. And it's sales on a more meaningful level. It's not just click online, find the cheapest price, and away you go, right? Price only matters in the absence of value. And so to deliver consistently and then get referrals, so you don't have to constantly be in prospecting and spending $1 bazillion on traditional marketing, it really does come down to relationships.
Yeah. So what have you learned in today's marketplace that somebody listening to this could gain value in how do you get somebody's attention? How do you earn
Mm.
the place where you can ask questions? It's to me that's I mean when I think of the number of people that try to connect with me every day because
Yeah.
of spam, I'm
Yep.
constantly doing you know
I don't
I
even
took
read
my
my LinkedIn inbox. Like I don't even read it.
yeah. It's
There's
I
nothing
took
of
my
value in
spam
there.
filter off my phone. I had one for a long time. It was real cheap, $39 or something like that. And they
Yeah.
just raised it 90 something bucks a month. So I kill that. I got to find another solution. But that's the kind of stuff that people who are trying to get to me have to weed their way through. And I'm not an anomaly. That's today's marketplace. What have you
So
learned?
here's the golden nugget, and here's the answer to your question. We are doing it right now. How many questions have you asked me since we started this conversation 20 minutes ago? And I'm happy to answer, and I'm happy to connect with you and obviously your audience, but particularly you, right? And so, are people on social media? Yes. You have to meet people where they are. Do I want to run ads, or do I want to be spammy like everyone else is? No, I want to be a contrarian. I want to be a purple cow. I want to stand out. So here's what I do: build your brand, be of value, build your social media audience as big as you can. Okay. And then figure out, who do you want to connect with? If I want to connect with Mike, then and he's in my local market, right? So me as an insurance agent, I'm looking for people that are in parallel markets, people who are already doing business with my potential customers. So I don't try to find the customers individually. I try to find the people who already have the relationships with the customers I want. So in my business as an insurance agent, that's realtors, car dealers, leasing managers, attorneys, mortgage brokers. So I build the relationships with them. So if Mike is a local realtor and I want the relationship with him because I know he has a couple hundred loyal customers that he works with who could be my customers, I'm going to say, hey, Mike, I've got the social media audience of over 10,000 people here locally. I love to shine a spotlight on amazing people doing amazing things right here in the community. And I see you're one of those people. If you'd be willing, I'd love to stop by your place, take some pictures, sit down for 15 minutes, ask you some questions, and then put together a nice little social media article that highlights you and your business and share what you're doing with my audience. Would you be open to that?
And how many people say no to
I've
that?
never had a single one.
No, you're not
Right?
going to.
Totally free advertising. But what does it do? Okay, yes, I'm highlighting Mike and putting him in front of my audience, but I'm also tagging Mike and I'm now cross-pollinating with his audience. So they're seeing that I'm the one that's shining the spotlight on Mike. So it helps both of us. But probably most importantly is all the questions I want to know about Mike, I just asked him in the interview. Right.
Mhm.
And now I know. Now I take detailed notes in my CRM, and now I start consistently following up with Mike, right? Not asking for anything, but just like, a personalized handwritten greeting card, thanking him for his time and how awesome it was to meet him. We're going to connect on social. I'm going to engage in his material, share it, promote it, whatever he has going on. I might stop by with a thoughtful gift, in a couple months, but there's something I'm going to do every month in person or through snail mail, social media, email, what have you, gifting, to show up in a thoughtful, meaningful way consistently so that over time I am top of mind when it comes to Mike. And so to take that a step further, and this is what I was saying initially to answer the question, podcasting is the new media, right? YouTube and podcasts and shorts and reels, what we're doing here. Would we have connected, you and I, real life here, if it wasn't for podcasting?
No,
Probably
no.
not, right?
COVID was a great blessing from the standpoint of it converted my office into a studio. Uh,
Yeah,
and
same.
it opened up doors. And so you and I think you're up in upstate New York, what I
I'm in
call
New York. You're in
you're in
Houston.
the real winter. Houston,
I'm on a glacier.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, Houston, we had snow. They called it a blizzard down here. You think it's a dusting. I mean, it's just that's the way things are.
Yeah, but
Uh,
and before we hit record, I'm like, hey, Mike, I have a podcast. I'd love for you to come on, and away we go. Like, this relationship could be mutually beneficial. I hope it
it's up.
is.
Yeah.
And it all started with a conversation via this podcast. And so my wife and I started our area code here in the central New York, Syracuse area is 315. So we started a Love Living Local 315 podcast. And every week we invite a guest on and we do just that. We shine a spotlight on amazing people doing amazing things right here in our local community. It's a hyper focused podcast that has an audience of over 10,000 people here locally. So now I go to all the people that I network with and connect with, right, in the insurance world, and I give them the opportunity to be a guest, and then they promote themselves, build their brand, their business, things they have going on, and everybody wins, and they're grateful because how much money would it cost them to get in front of 10,000 people in this market to tell their story if they were to, to be on TV or radio or any traditional ways, thousands of dollars. I'm doing it for free. Right.
Yeah.
But the gift comes in the reciprocity.
Yeah, I want to capture something what you're saying
Yeah.
right now that I think is really important, is that what you're describing is not just connecting with people who are after making sales. You're talking about connecting with people that you may serve in a marketplace that they're not interested in being on a podcast because they might get business out of it. That's one aspect of it. But it's a whole other thing you're making me think about, which is
Yeah.
you connect with people and in a way that makes them feel important, makes them feel valued. I'm thinking about the market that I've worked with in executive search. I had controllers and VPs of finance, and they weren't front of the tip of the spear from a business development standpoint. But if I reached out to them and asked for help, or if I did something to increase their presence as a subject matter expert, to make them feel of value, the relationship with them grew. And that's what we're talking about today. The person listening to this may go, well, I don't have a podcast. That's not the answer. But if the person you're reaching out to and whatever you're trying to do to connect with them from your network, you can make that person feel important, feel valued, feel cared about, not just cared for, cared about.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's high value, isn't it?
High value, so create the platform, that's what, it's the whole field of dreams. If you build it, they will come. Right. And it could be as simple as a newsletter. It could be a blog. It could be a vlog. It could be, just a social media post. It could be a podcast. Doesn't take much to start one. So whatever it is, build that platform that you're comfortable with. And then to your point, Mike, make them feel of value because they are. Give them the platform to shine. It's all about them. High ticket value that you're offering costs you very little. And all of a sudden you have a much deeper, stronger relationship with that person. And it's the goose and the golden egg, right? The golden egg is my potential customer in the insurance world, but it's very expensive and it's very cold to go after all the golden eggs out there the same way every other company's doing it. So I go after the geese that lay the golden eggs, right? And those are the people who are already connected to the people I want to be connected to. I build a relationship with them, and by doing so, they're excited to introduce people they know to me, and that's how the Referrals Done Right system works.
Yeah, and I love this because of the it's taking the referral and putting it in a different sort of level of importance in the sales process. Meaning that I'm just as intentional about connecting and establishing a relationship with somebody who's a high referral person, and I'm specific. And I actually wrote the word down here, intentional, as you're right. I'm intentional about doing so, as opposed to making it a throwaway, which is at the end of a business development call or a recruiting call or sales call, whatever. You say, oh, by the way, who do you know that I could do business with?
Cringy.
I call that's a throwaway thing, but as opposed
Cringy.
to, but raising it up and saying the purpose of reaching out to you, Scott, is because of who you are, because of your presence in the marketplace. I just felt like you were somebody that I wanted to get to know, and hopefully there'd be some value in you knowing me. All right. Totally different approach. Just as important as saying, Scott, can I do business with you? Because that one is a leverage point. You're making me think about that. There's somebody over the years that I did business. I probably, had 15 or 20 pieces of business that they pointed me to over the years. Never did business with them at their company.
That's a great point.
but 15 or 20 pieces of business came elsewhere.
So many of my best referral sources I don't personally do business with, or they don't do business with me, because look, again, we're in a highly competitive industry, as were you, and if someone at a higher level has a connection with somebody in my space already, there's that loyalty. They might be in the country club together or the certain whatever together, and they don't want to make it weird, and I respect that, right? I get that, but that doesn't mean they won't refer business to you.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them do. And so I still pour into those people, just because they're not bringing their personal business to me doesn't mean they won't introduce me to 30 people who will.
That's right.
And so, you want to create this network of super connectors. It's kind of like I do BNI without doing BNI. I don't do BNI, but I've created my own little like BNI group, where there's a couple hundred people that we stay my whole team, not just me, but we have about a couple hundred people that we consistently stay in front of. And that's like our BNI network. And so when I say I know a landscaper or a realtor or, a car detailer, because they're in my network that I've built. So build that network of geese, right? If we're talking goose and the golden egg, and instead of trying to find 10,000 new customers, find 200 geese who will lay 10,000 eggs over the next few years, and gladly introduce you to those people.
Yeah, I listen for acronyms and words, whatever. For those who are on the line to listen, they hear you say, build your BNI network. Tell them what you mean by that.
Yeah, so BNI is again, I'm not in it, but it's a structured group. It's great. They're great with it. It's a lead share group, and they take.
I just wanted to. I don't want somebody to get glazed over because it's just a lead share group. As you're
it's a lead share group. They
Yeah.
take one person from each industry. So if there's an insurance agent in your market, I can't be the insurance agent. There's only one. They meet every so often and they share leads with each other. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and what you're talking about, and I love this concept of create your own network group that's intimate, that are people that are connected, that know each other, know others, and that you are actually kind of the center post of. You're the sort of the supreme connector that's involved, so to speak. This has been a fascinating conversation. I really appreciate your time, because we've taken a topic that is it's not a novel topic, but what we've taken is, as I think, is a look in a window that most people don't, and that's looking at referral and changing the target of the referral. How do you look for it? How do you develop it? How do you position it? And really build out a business plan to be intentional on a daily, weekly, monthly, annual basis to build what I call them, again, from the South, grew up in a hunting community. I call them bird dogs. The pointers, the ones that can lead you where you need to go. That's one aspect of it. But in today's marketplace, that is so disengaged, to be a conduit of connectivity I believe, it's the heart of your message.
That's might be the best recap and synopsis I've ever heard, Mike. I'm not BSing you. That was fantastic. Well said.
Super. Well, how can, if somebody wants to do some follow up, we've talked about your book. I'm assuming you can get the book off your website, which we'll put in the show notes.
Wherever books are sold, you can find it. And also the website is just my name, which is scottgrates.com. And all the different ways to connect with me are there, and I'm on LinkedIn and all the different social platforms. Just don't spam me, because I don't look at my inbox.
Yeah, well, the fun part of that had to do with the fact in today's time. I mean, if you just want to just close your eyes, guess, and just kind of mentally picture Scott's book, Referrals Done Right, there's a possibility to show up on your doorstep tomorrow. I mean, it's with today's time, it's just you'll have that capability if you want to. So,
and hopefully 1 million people do that. That would. I have 3 kids to put through college, so it'd be great if 1 million people visualize that on their doorstep.
That would be really cool then. And then one day Stephen King would wake up and go, "Today I was in front of Scott Grates. That's a good day."
That's right. He's like, for one week, I beat him.
That's it. So, Scott, thanks so much for your time and your interest.
Thank you, Mike.
Best of luck to you.
Likewise.
Thanks for joining us today on Lighting the Path, Strategies for Tomorrow's Leaders. If anything in this podcast speaks to you, if I've challenged you, or if you want to spend time digging into this subject a little deeper, or if you disagree with me, reach out. My contact information is on our website, lightingthepath.net, or email me at mike@mikelejeune.com. Also, look for me on LinkedIn. I'd love to connect our networks. Keep lighting the path for those who choose to follow you. It's more than a responsibility. It's an honor.